Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, we're going to talk about Dominican Republic Weekly, episode 24. And inside, airfare and a lot of other information like ICDV inflation. If you're thinking about buying property or buying a business inside Dominican Republic, you don't want to miss Dominican Republic today, episode number 24. And welcome. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. And please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for information and who needs this information, especially when we're talking about there's real estate that you can buy with no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. That's known as pre-construction. Now, let's get into it, shall we? We're on the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page. And once again, I always point out members of the channel over here on the right-hand side. Courtesy of YouTube along this line, they show a few. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, please hit the join button. This shows a little bit of financial support. Under the community tab is where members of the channel will have special videos. They'll also have special posts. They'll also have the link to get into any live stream. They're also the only ones that can be in the chat room on Wednesday nights. And also, if they're a member of the channel for 1 year or more, they get one free piece of gear. SSN Nation gear. All right? That's another little benefit as well. So, let's get into it a little bit because since we're talking about Dominican Republic, I have been remiss to never show the SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum. 3 days, December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. 2024. If you want to find out about different things that can help you with investments or starting a business or even residency, anything like that, you need to come because December 2nd, that's where we go see the lawyers. So you can ask them any question that you want. No additional cost. It's $199 per person. Sign up today for the first 5 people that sign up. After 5, the price starts going up. So get your tickets now. On the 3rd, we go around to different projects in the area around Punta Cana. So then you get the lay of the land if you're not familiar with where things are. That can help you out. You'll see some pre-construction. You'll see some existing construction. So therefore, you'll get an idea if that's what you want to do. So on the 3rd day, we're going to go and talk with some banks. And from the very get-go, if you're coming, you need to get in touch with our own Gresha, who works for Johan Confidante's office, to make sure that you will have your bank account ready to go when you arrive. It's not like in the United States where you can just open up a bank account in like an hour. Over there, you need to get approved. That takes hours, and then they will issue you your bank account in 45 to 30 days. We get to bypass it. So when you come there, this is some of the things that we get to do. And yes, there is a cost. No airfare and no hotel is included. It's $199. The other thing is, I would recommend staying in Los Corrales. That's where the best prices are going to be, near La Bruja. You've heard about it. We've talked about it. That's where we have our mainstay, so to speak. People love the food there, and the price is reasonable. Now, let's get into some of the Dominican Republic information. Carnival Cruise Lines, part of the tourism industry, with the Ministry of Tourism and Luis Abinader, their way of bringing in additional revenues is by bringing in extra tourism. So the report on July 27th is Carnival Cruise maintains its booming operations in Puerto Plata. That's right. If you have new records for the cruise ports, there's 8 of them on the island. This is just one. But they are bringing in a ton of people. On Wednesday, July 24th, Amber Cove's Tourist and Cruise Port welcomed Carnival Cruise Celebration and Magic. 13,000 people on board, including visitors and crew. Can you imagine 4,000 to 5,000 people in town spending their money? That's right. Think about it. That's helping the local economy and local businesses in these areas. Plus, if there's manufacturing on the island that sells to these same vendors, that's a win-win. And then you have a few people on those cruise ships who say, you know what, I think I might want to live around here or in the Dominican Republic. So now you're getting them into second homes or first homes and a lot of other things just from that. So keep this in mind. And this is why the tourism record, the cruise record and the airfare record to the Dominican Republic will keep rising over the next 2 years. More ships, more people on all fronts, whether it's an airship or a cruise ship. Either way, it's happening. All right. Now, this is something very, very serious when it comes to real estate purchases in the Dominican Republic. A lot of contracts now have something called ICDV. All right. I'm going to go over this right now because as you can see from this headline, I'll have a link down below so you can read this full article. The high cost of new housing in GSD due to inflationary pressures on materials. I will point this out. The reason why a lot of people from 2020, 2019, 2018, when they started buying, they didn't have anything in their contract regarding if prices can be increased or no price increase at all. There's no mention. So what happened after that, people started or developers started putting in their contracts, you may buy something, I'll use this as an example. You may buy something for 100,000, but we're going to eat, if the ICDV index goes up past 3% in 1 year, we'll eat it. Under 3%, under 3%, we'll eat it. But if it goes over 3%, the amount that goes over 3%, you're going to pay the difference on your balance in most cases. There's only one project that I know of that put in there on your balance. All the rest put in on what you have purchased. So it would be on the 100,000 in our case. Another one, if you put down 10% and only own 90,000 or less, then on one project, if you guys can guess, put it down below in the comment section, that says we will add the ICDV of the last year onto the balance only. So keep this in mind when you're buying property. You want to negotiate. You want to make sure you have a lawyer. You want to make sure you have an attorney. Make sure you have them negotiate for you to make sure that you're not going to come across and have to pay some crazy amount. Now, let's get into it a little bit further. Look at this, April 2024. The index, this is of this year, which is the ICDV, it has registered a significant increase of 49.63%. Now, this was from January 2020 to April 2024. It was 50%. So all these people who bought in 2020, 2019, like I said at the beginning, they got letters saying 18% more, 15% more, because their contract did not have it stipulated how much you can actually charge me more. So make sure you have that in your contract. Now, I will add this. The situation has caused cement, a material par excellence of construction companies, to present up to 18% in construction cost. This is what happened with Panorama Garden, Panorama Park. They sent people a letter that said 18% more, please. And in their contract, it did say they can increase the price. I just can't remember the exact language. In my contract, they put in Johann Confidante that they can only go up to 10%. At $124,000, the question was, hey, Eric, what happens if the price increase goes up? Would you be willing to accept this 10%, making it 135? I said yes, because I knew that it would go higher than 135. So 10% over 2 or 3 years, it was kind of worth it if it happened. Well, it happened. It went up 18% for my fellow owners at Panorama Garden. I would have had to pay 135. They, who did not have Johann Confidante or a lawyer that negotiated, had to pay almost 145 for the same unit. That's a $10,000 difference for $1,000 or $2 to pay a lawyer. So therefore, it was worth it. I'll give you another example. Somebody was at Zeba. They also had in their contract up to 5% is what their lawyer negotiated. Zeba increased prices 15%. Just to give you an idea. So that saved 10% for that person. That was significant. Now, let's get into it a little bit more so you understand. The same has happened with steel, according to the guild, although it did not specify the current state of its cost in the market. All right. Now, just keep this in mind right here. This year, I'm going to skip because I'm trying to find this year in percentage terms. The monthly positive variation of the ICDV was 3.96% compared to May, which was 0.023%. Just so everybody knows. Earlier, like 2 months ago, it was at 3.99. We'll just round up to 4%. So all those people who have in their contract from last year that anything up to 3%, the developer keeps, anything or eats, anything over 3%, the buyer has to pay or add on to the cost. So in this case, if it stays at 3.99, you're going to owe 1%. Whatever your purchase price was, except for one project, but I'll just assume you're going to have to do 1% of your purchase price. So if you bought something for $200,000, you're going to owe $2,000. If you bought something for $100,000, you're going to owe $1,000. If you bought something for $50,000, then you're going to owe $500 additional dollars. And for however long your contract is, every year they calculate this. So next year, if you don't close before, let's say, December, you'll still probably pay some sort of increase. But the point I'm trying to make is, depending on what the ICDV is, that's what you're going to pay. All right? Now, here's something else that's alarming. When comparing the results of June 2024 with those of June 2023, the index has shown a variation of 6.18%, explained 1. ONE is also the ultimate ones that actually give out the numbers. The ICDV is what does the numbers as far as the index, as far as the inflation, but the one is the company. So either one, you can look up the one or ICDV by Google and you can figure it out. All right. Now, two-story family rose 4.11%. So once again, some people would say, I have a two-story house, I have a two-story townhouse, I have a two-story triplex or whatever. 4% is different than 3%, so that could be 1.1 for some people. So you see where this is going. So this is why you pay attention to your contracts. Now, I'll have a link down below, like I said, because I don't want to keep going into this much further because it does get a little bit deeper, but at least you have a general understanding. Other information, Aerojet launches sales of its flights from Punta Cana. This is how air travel and air visitors get increased, because now it's not only good enough to leave or just go into the Caribbean islands. Now they're going all over. Aerojet began selling routes that connect Punta Cana International Airport with North and South America, strengthening visitors' arrivals. So all those who did not think 8.5 to 9 million tourists by air could come in this year, Stay tuned. All those who don't think that next year, 2025, will not reach the 10 million air visitors, let me know what you think. Because next year, at the end of 2025, there will be 10 million visitors by air. I'm just saying, all right? Mark my words, I'll say 9.5 to 10, but you'll see. Because this is what is happening. The airline informed us that operations connecting Punta Cana with Sao Paulo, Toronto, Montreal, Santiago de Chile, Lima, Mexico, and Cancun are already available and will begin October 27th of this year. See how simple this is? So all I can tell you is this is about to get crazy. The new hub of the continent very soon will be adding other destinations that will fly Punta Cana, such as Buenos Aires, Quito, I don't know how to spell that, Bogota, Medellin, and Cartagena, with the most comprehensive prices in the market. You see, this is adding, even if it only adds a couple thousand people, that's a couple thousand people more than the previous year. So it's easy to see that more tourists help rentals. All right? Let me know what you think. This right here, I had to point out, is very, very alarming. IDB indicates that 45% of households in Latin America and the Caribbean do not have decent housing. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Low cost, effective housing for your population. No matter which country you live in, this is a must. It's not all about real estate investing, corporations investing. This is pretty serious when you have 45%, another 5% away from 50% of Latin. You know how many people live in Latin countries in the Caribbean, also Latin? This is a significant number of the world. This is not just like 50 million people or anything. This is crazy. Look at here. We estimate 95% or so of the total is qualitative and is also very urban, if only because more than 80% of the population in Latin America and Caribbean lives in cities. Sheesh. Who knew? All right. Minister of Urban Planning and Housing of Paraguay explained during this presentation that the housing deficit in his country is currently estimated at 1.1 million homes. See where we're going with this, ladies and gentlemen? So just keep in mind, you have to have homes that the population, the indigenous citizens there can afford to live in. We can't keep thinking that somebody in the DR is going to be buying a $250,000, $300,000 condo or villa. That's strictly American. All right, let's call it what it is, and Canadian. All right, the rest of the world, they don't spend that much. All right, just saying. So with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps this edition up, episode number 24, Dominican Republic Today. I want to thank you so much again for watching. Thank you for being here. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, and that's why you have to stay abreast of the situation here in the Dominican Republic or around the world or even in the United States, because you never know when an investment opportunity, a business opportunity comes along, and then you can strike. But you have to do your homework first. Hopefully I help you with a little bit of homework. Links for all 4 articles will be down below so you can do your own due diligence and read further. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.